Hey guys, it's Chris from Smithy Fitness. Welcome back. I'm here at my high school field and I am carrying the 32 and the 36 kilo bells today. But right now I'm going to do the suitcase carry and I will carry the 32 and talk to you guys for a few minutes. Here we go. Oh, that's heavy. So I'm a big fan of Robert Greene, and particularly the 48 Laws of Power, which I've read numerous times. It's a great book written in, I think, 98, but it still gets wide sales, big sales, and it really is a classic. I recommend it to everybody. But anyway, one of his laws is recreate yourself. Basically, it means, if you've been one way all your life and you're not happy with your results, change it. Just because society looks at you in a certain way now because of your past doesn't mean you have to remain that way. Reminds me of Tony Robbins. He had a saying, the past does not equal the future. So if you're not happy where you're at, you've got to decide in a serious manner, like an adult, to make a change and become the person you want to be. And it kind of takes me back to my high school years. I'm almost there. This thing's heavy. Whew. Okay. And like I said, this is my high school, which I enrolled in 50 years ago. But there's a guy in my high school, really popular guy, just full of energy. I'll tell you about him in a minute. But I really wanted to be like him. I was a pretty good athlete, but this guy was an energy ball. And I wanted to be like John, this guy who just seemed to have charisma and energy. He could do, anything. So it seemed to me. He's 2 years older, also a tennis player. And I decided I wanted to be an energy ball like John. I was going to change my ways. And you know what? I couldn't do it. Did not have the knowledge. I did not have the willpower. And it took me another 30, 40 years until 10 or 15 years ago to become that energy ball. But with the knowledge that's out there on the internet and on YouTube, you can make a change so fast. You just have to be determined and curious and do the work. I'll talk to you about that in the next segment. But there's hope. Look at Zuckerberg, for example. I mean, kind of the world's biggest nerd, right? And then 5-6 years ago, he discovered MMA. And now, I hate to say it, not really, but he's on his way to being cool. I mean, it's amazing. If Zuckerberg can do it, anybody can. More about that in the next segment. I'll show you some of my workout today. It's hot out here, man, but gotta do the work because I'm an energy ball. I'm gonna be 64 next week. And if you've been watching me for any period of time, any years that is, always on my birthday, I attempt a muscle up. It's sort of a challenge to myself. I don't do them in the year, just on my birthday, but I do a lot of dips and pull-ups. So I'm gonna do some dips. I've got the vest, not a belt, and I'll do, I'll do 6. It's a 10 kilo belt, so vest, so 22 pounds. Is that 4? 5, 6. So the rings are quite inexpensive. I recommend you buy a pair. You can sling them over a crossbar, branch, all sorts of places, and do your pull-ups and your dips. Makes a great deal of sense. I'm gonna do suitcase carry now with the 36 kilo bell. I won't be able to make it all the way to the end, but I'll switch part way through. Again, I encourage you to go as heavy as you can, doing it periodically, increasing the weight, not right away. Just start where you are and wait a month, but then increase and wait 3 weeks and then increase and keep that going. We gotta be, loading to make a difference in the body. Okay, so let me tell you about my friend John. I was in grade 11, 16 years old. He was in grade 13. He would have been 18. He had a really nice car, had a good job, and seemed to have money. But he came from a pretty big family, and they were a real part of the barbecue culture. We would go over there for barbecues, a lot of hamburgers, hot dogs. Not my thing, frankly. I was kind of a cereal pasta guy. Thought that was the way to go. My family, you know, kind of liked that way of eating. It was cheaper. We didn't have a lot of money. Whew. But anyway, John was a bit of an outsider, but a popular outsider. And he had loads of friends. Kind of a short guy, good looking, into boxing. He'd have all sorts of people to his house for boxing matches on Wide World of Sports. Maybe some of you remember that. Saw some great fighters. But he had maybe 20 people in his basement. He'd be up shadow boxing and laughing, having a vodka soda. That was his drink. And super popular guy. But he had this energy, this unmistakable energy. And the girls loved him. Short, had these glasses, huge Coke bottle bottom glasses, you know, thick. He didn't care. He, a little outrageous in his remarks with the boxing, refused to do curls in the gym because he hated them, but he was pretty jacked. Loud, funny, but so I wanted to be like John, and I couldn't do it. And now looking back, I realize, you know, he was high T. I was, compared to him, low T. And he was eating all this protein, all this meat, sandwich meats. I mean, he was eating carbs too, but a lot more protein than me. Honestly, I was probably having 40 grams of protein a day. He was probably having 150, maybe 200. Big family, he had 4 brothers. I know they were fighting all the time. So that brings up your T levels. He had this car. And in those days we had these car stereos. It was kind of a status thing. And we'd put, you know, get them custom made, put in the car, and you just crank it out. So loud going down the street. That was him. But that pumps your T levels too. So he had this wicked high testosterone level just from his lifestyle. And it attracted people. It attracted the girls. It attracted the cool guys. He was a cottage guy, good at water skiing. I could water ski, but we didn't have a cottage. Not many people did, so he was lucky. But when I look at adding all these things together, now, all these years later, and for the last 10 or 20 years, I've kind of known all that. And relative to my age, I'm a total energy ball. I've done it. I've done it. It took me all these years, but I've done it. And that's how I've transformed myself. So back to the title of this video, you can reinvent yourself to become, you know, this John friend of mine, an energy ball, a charismatic, handsome, chiseled face energy ball without needing anyone's approval, anyone's permission. You can do it all yourself and become, you know, the person you want to be, not the person maybe that you've been. And for me, I'm always trying to up my game. I'm better now than I was a year ago. I'm better today than I was 5 years ago. And the funny thing is, guys, I did a pretty good video on my 59th birthday. I'm gonna do a video in 5 days on my 64th birthday, and we can compare how does Smithy Fitness look now relative to how he looked at 59. I don't even know, I haven't looked at it, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna compare well to that guy. So one of the best ways to stay young and youthful is to play, to have fun, to play games. And you know I love soccer, so I'm gonna run around and take a kick. I'll see you in a sec. One thing I really notice is that as people get older, and you can see this with the joggers out there, the older joggers, their stride gets shorter and shorter because their hips get tight. So when you're running after a ball or you're sprinting, make sure, push your stride, be youthful, athletic, long, lithe, and make it happen. So if you think you might want to make a change to reinvent yourself, the best way to do it is to just decide. You just make, a serious decision that what I'm doing isn't good enough or isn't what I want, and I'm gonna do this from now on. So that's the first thing, is the decision. And the second part of that is for you to tell yourself, no matter what, I'm gonna do it. And as I said earlier, look at Zuckerberg. He's done it. Bezos, he's made huge changes back in the very beginning of Amazon. So you can do whatever you want. You don't have to become a fitness icon, but you could become, a business icon, a millionaire, and just start to live the business life. Get up early. You can decide, become a health icon, do your cold showers, cold bath, get your sleep dialed into bed by 9:30 every day, up at 6. You can just decide to make these changes and then do it. Just do it. And it's not a 3-month thing, guys. It's a year, 2 years, 5 years, but every day will be better than the day before. And making it a long-term thing is you can take that immediate pressure off and just allow it to unfold and learn and implement and learn and grow and become better and better. All right, that's it for another one, man. It is a hot July 21st in Toronto. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.